Stream is starting shortly. This is just a quick sound test. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the stream. I say good evening because we're here in the UK. I'm here in the UK, but the viewers so far, nobody's from the UK. So to you guys, I should be saying good morning, good day to you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's see who's with us in the chat. Make sure you say hello to me. Traditionally, we have two questions. Where are you tuning in from and what's the weather like? And Freddie is tuning in. Freddie, good to see you again. And how is your VBA going? I know you're really working hard on learning, so let me know. And yeah, Freddie says it's sunny here with a little bit of heat, 28 Celsius or something. That's sounding like a nice temperature, Freddie. Michelle is here. Welcome, Michelle. Good to see you again. So Michelle, you said you downloaded Office 365. Let me know in the chat, how's your experience with Office 365? I find it's pretty good. You know, I don't want to sound like a salesman for Microsoft, but I think Office 365, you get the latest version downloaded, you get some online storage or something as well. So I think overall it's a pretty good deal, but let me know what you think, Michelle. And who else we got? Paul is here from Barnsley. Paul, welcome. And thank you for your comment on Friday's video. And oh, Michelle just had her birthday on Friday. So happy birthday, Michelle. Fantastic stuff. Really good to have you with us today. And Raj is here. So Raj, welcome. I think you're new to the stream, new to the streaming squad, the Chess Tuesday streaming squad. So welcome, Raj. And Raj is tuning in from Milton Keynes in the UK. So you're about an hour and a half away from me, Raj. I'm up in the Midlands. So anyway, Raj, it's your first time. So let us know, where are you with your VBA career? Are you just starting? Are you more experienced? And let me know what questions you've got. Right. This week, the question this week is, question of the week, what's your favorite feature in the VBA editor? On Friday, we released a video called 17 Things You Have to Know About the VBA Editor, and I got a lot of good feedback and some feedback from people saying, oh, you missed this and you missed that. So let me know, what's your favorite feature, and maybe even your favorite feature in the VBA editor that I didn't cover in the video on Friday. So we'll try to dig into that in the live stream. Freddie says, while Michelle says first, it's great, but I don't have the Insider Edition. So Michelle, what do you mean by the Insider Edition? Is that the edition that's only available to kind of Excel celebrities? You might say people in the Excel community. There is some kind of exclusive version of Excel only available to people. I don't know how you become one of these people, but some of the online Excel help people have got it already, and they have access to new functions such as XLOOKUP, which is this new function that's coming soon. So Michelle, I don't have the Insider Edition. I'm not an Excel insider. But yeah, we'll get some exciting functions soon. I mean, with the new functions, Michelle mentioned dynamic arrays. We've got XLOOKUP coming. There's some new formulae coming as well. So this is exciting stuff. No doubt about it. And I will be reviewing these new functions on the channel. But for me, it comes with a bit of a caveat. You know, over the years, I've been doing Excel development for 10 years or more, and there's always new development. So this is a game changer. This changes everything. I'm not sure about that personally. I find that new formulae make things easier, give us more options as programmers, but they don't change the game. The fundamentals are still the same. We have a spreadsheet, we have a good range of functionality, and we have the VBA editor. So, but we'll be checking out those new functions on the channel this year. Freddie says, spending some time on the chess challenge with some decent progress. Excellent. Yeah, with a chess challenge, it's like, how would you say, open development? I can't quite remember what the word is, but yeah, I put the file online every week. Do your own development with the file. It's great practice, the best way to learn. Someone left a comment on YouTube this week saying, it was a brilliant comment. Was it you, Paul? I'm not sure. It might have been Paul or somebody else, but somebody said, I would rather play with Excel than play a computer game. And I was like, yep, I'm the same. I'd rather try to do something stupid in Excel than play a computer game. So if you can get your learning to a stage where it feels like play. So with the chess thing, we're just messing about, really. We're playing. There's no real pressure. If you can create that safe space, I'm always talking about, where you can play, then you can unlock loads of creativity and really boost your Excel learning. So I think everyone should have a silly Excel project. Mine is the chess challenge. I've also produced a kind of silly football simulator that you can find on the YouTube channel. But make sure you've got a silly Excel project and you're playing with it. That means you're going to learn a lot. Yeah, and Paul said it was you. Paul, that was a brilliant comment, I thought. In fact, Paul, I'm going to do a 60-second video, #YourDailyTiger on Facebook and Instagram. I do a 60-second video every day. I'm going to cover that topic, Paul. You've inspired a 60-second video. Freddie says that sounds like some crazy lines coming from a crazy programmer. Perhaps you're right there, Freddie, but crazy programmers certainly welcome here. With that said, I promised I wouldn't do a big lead in this week because we didn't do much coding last week. Let's get back into the coding. And we're looking to scale up this idea. Now, if you want an explanation of this idea, you can go back to last week's stream and the week before, because I think I've been through it 2 weeks in a row. But we're just going to play the code to remind ourselves what happened. So F5 key here. Now we've got these cell references coming up. And these cell references are telling us possible moves up to the blocking piece. Because you remember the problem we had was dealing with blocking pieces. So we've got F5 there, F5. So that's F5, the Excel reference, not the chessboard reference. Could be confusing. F4 as well. F7 we've got, F7 down here. And then we've got F8 down here, yes. And then we've got E6 as a possible move, yes. And we've got D6 as a possible move, yes. And then we've got G6 as possible move, yes. And we've got H6 as a possible move. So that includes the squares. That includes the squares that the blocking pieces are on. So this is the idea. Just to demonstrate this, if we put a piece here, and a piece here, and a piece here, and then we delete this piece here, then we should have, we'll see a different set of moves being kind of suggested here. So we've got F5, that makes sense. F4, that makes sense. F3, that makes sense. How far are we going to go here? And then F7, okay, that has a piece on, that's okay. E6 has a piece on, that's okay. And then we've got G6, and G6 has a piece on, that's okay. So you can see this is the basic idea. And then we've got these different movements. I think I call them modes or categories of movements. And it was, we've got up, down, left, right. And then this week, we're going to try to do up to the left, up to the right, and then down to the left and down to the right. So we're trying to scale up something that appears to be working. With your coding, you've always got to be thinking, what stage of the coding process am I at? Am I doing planning and conceptualization? Am I in the dirt doing the coding, or am I scaling up something that I know works and I'm scaling it up? Having that kind of thinking on the what my brother would call the metacognitive level. I don't think Steve's watching because he's on holiday, but the metacognitive level, what are you actually doing at the moment when you are coding? And this will come over time and with experience, but there's different phases to coding. I'm always talking about it on the YouTube channel. So if we're going up, then the start cell is -1. So that's going to be here, because a negative value for the rows takes us up in Excel, of course, and 0 columns, that makes sense. And then -3 is going to be the end, yep, because that's the end of the board, and 0 columns. And then the row step -1, yep, and the col step is going to be 1. Okay, so can we program this for the other ones here? So if we're going up and to the left, we're talking about going in this direction, up and to the left. So the start cell is going to be, well, it's going to be 1 row above, which is -1, and it's going to be 1 column to the left-hand side, 1 column to the left-hand side, which is also going to be -1. So that's going to be the first possible candidate square. And then the end, well, if the rook is here, it's going to be -3 and -3, I think. Okay, what's the row step and the col step? I think, are these both -1? I think these are both -1 as well. Okay. Okay, let's see. Let's see what happens. So I just want to test this line here. The up left line. So how could we kind of switch off the other lines for a second? Let's see how we're actually working through this. For counter equals 0 to 3, there we go. So if we just say for counter equals 4 to 4, okay, and then so we're offsetting from row 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Offsetting, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that should take us down to this row. So I'm interested to see, and I'm kind of refreshing myself, as you can see, but that's the spirit of the series. You know, it's live and you see what it's like. You see how I work through things. So we're going to see what happens now. So what we'd like to happen is for the cell address E5 to flash up, the cell address D4 to flash up, and the cell address C3 to flash up. So Control S, save the file. F5 key, we've got E5, that's good. Then we've got D5. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. And then we've got C5. Okay, E4, D4, C4, E3, D3, and C3. Okay, so we've actually got this whole square here. We've got this whole square. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to have to think about how we fix that. So it must be to do with how we're configuring the values in this table here. Okay, it's going around the whole square there. Right. Is it even possible to do diagonals like this? Start and the end. Okay. Yeah, and the others. What have we got in the others? -3 and 0. Yeah. Okay. Okay, Paul says it is a step. Right. Okay. So what do you think? Open to ideas from the chat here. So I'm looking just to get these diagonal cells referenced, and I've actually got a whole square of cells coming up here. So it must be to do, Paul says it's to do with the step. Row step -1, col step -1. Okay. Okay. Right, let's step through the code. See what's happening. Okay, Freddie. Freddie says, in my program, I was considering each directions in a clockwise manner. Wondering if that helps simplify the program. Possibly, Freddie. Possibly. I'll see if I can get this working first. I might have to try to get it working offline. But, you know, that's the spirit of the chess challenge. You know, sometimes we don't make any progress, but that's what a coding session is like. Anyway, so when I don't quite understand things, what do? Well, get the F8 key You can go debug, step into. Then I want to know the values of these variables as we're working through this loop here. What are the values of the variables? Going to hit the F8 key. So when we get the first message box coming up, E5. Okay, row counter's -1. That makes sense because row counter starts at -1. So column counter is row ends -3. Yeah, and row step is -1. You do want the row step to be -1. Okay. Column counter starting at -1. Okay. Row start -1, row end -3, that makes sense. Row start -1, yep. Row end -3, so col start is -1 and col end is -3. Yep, col start is -1, col end is -3, okay. And then we've got -1 here. Okay. Okay, Steve's here. Steve's here. Welcome, Steve. Steve, you've already got a mention on the chat. I think you already got a mention in the stream. I think you, I'm not sure if you were here for that, but we were talking about metacognition. And I said it's one of Steve's favorite words. So welcome, Steve. Okay. So thinking about this one. So it works in this case. It works for the straight line. It doesn't quite work for the diagonals. Okay, back to the VBA editor, still in break mode. -3, -1. Yeah, okay, so the next time we go through the loop, let's go through the loop one more time. Yeah, so now the col... Yeah, col counter is -2 and the row counter is -1. Yeah, so that's going to take us to D5. Okay. Okay. Not quite sure about this one. Not quite sure. Might be something I have to work through offline. But yeah, Steve says always keeping it metacognitive. Yep. Talking about metacognition, what do you do when you're struggling with a piece of code? Well, you know from everybody knows from the channel and indeed from my video on Friday, Beginner's Guide to the VBA Editor, 17 things you have to know about the VBA Editor. You have to go into break mode and work through the code using the F8 key, and then try to understand the values of the variables, which I'm doing, and I'm just doubting the whole approach now. Okay, so we're going through. Yeah, we just want a diagonal line. I'm going to highlight these squares. Let's have a look there, highlighting there. Hit the F4 key, repeat the last action. So we want these 3 references to come up, but we're actually getting the whole square. Actually getting this whole square coming up. Yeah, increase step by 1 for each additional move, maybe. Says Paul. So what we want to happen, what do we want to happen? Col count is -2. So we want to come out of the column loop now. Or is it just not possible? Is this setup we've got, is it just not going to work for the diagonal moves? Do we need something else? Do we need a new line of code in there for the diagonal moves? Well, no. Okay. I mean, this is one idea for making it work, but it's a bit of a workaround, and it's not ideal. But we could say if our counter, if the row counter value and the column counter value are the same, then we must be on a diagonal because we're counting away from the piece. So if we said if R counter equals C counter here, okay, and then close the then. We do need the then there, and then close the conditional statements. Oh no, that's in the wrong place, isn't it? Okay. What about this then? Put this up here. Okay. Yep. Okay. Let's see if this gets us the desired results. Just tidying up here. Still in break mode, of course. So if the row counter and col counter values, if the values of those variables are the same, then we must be on a diagonal. This is my logic here. Okay, we've got E5, that's right. Then we've got D4, that's right. And then we've got C3, that's right. So that's a possible workaround. But the problem is that the problem is we're losing the simplicity there, because we're going to use some different code for the diagonal. So for these 4 move types here, we're going to be using a different type of code as opposed to compared to the type of code that we're using here. Although it's not radically different, it's going to require an extra piece of code. And the whole point of creating this kind of experimental file, this prototype file, and trying a new approach is that the new approach would be super simple and scalable and flexible. So to have to be building in workarounds now, it's good that they work, but makes me think that maybe we should just go with the first approach, which already has some workarounds in, of course. So this is the kind of decision, guys. This is the kind of decision we've got to make as computer programmers. And, you know, this is what I'm dealing with on a day-to-day basis in my projects. Okay, I'm surprised. I'm a bit disappointed with myself that I didn't spot that earlier, I've got to say. Anyway, who's in the chat? What's going on in the chat? Right, Tony is in. Welcome, Tony. Good to see you. Tony, I think you are tuning in from Cardiff. Is that you, Tony? Tony's one of the Tuesday streaming squad. So welcome. Paul saying increase step by 1 for each additional move, maybe. Okay. Okay, maybe we'll look at that. We'll look at that in a second. Paul. Freddie's saying maybe the absolute value of the 2 steps are equal, then it will go diagonally. Okay. For all directions. Okay. Well, we'll go back to that. We'll go back to the code in a second, Freddie. Steve said, is coding purity overrated? Yeah, interesting question there. Yeah, I mean, certainly when I set out on my projects, it's you're kind of managing the process. So you want to start with simple code, you know, super powerful, easy to understand. But in reality, you know, you've got to be pragmatic. And I find that as new client requirements come in, and that's another question, how to manage client requirements. Do you say this is the brief and nothing else is going in? But as a client sees what you've done, they're going to have a greater appreciation of what's possible. They're going to have more requirements, and those additional requirements can feel a bit bolted on sometimes. So we always set out with this kind of idealistic approach, simple and powerful, but in reality, often we end up bolting things on. Oh, Alam's in as well. Alam is in the squad. Welcome, Alam. So Alam's actually a good friend of mine. So Alam, but 2 questions as always on the Tuesday live stream. Where are you tuning in from? So Alam, I'm not sure where you are. Where are you tuning in from? And what is the weather like? Okay, right. So I am in a bit of a quandary at the moment, I've got to say, because I thought we could quickly scale this approach and then look at putting this back into the other file, building it back into the other file. Is it something? Okay, Alan says it's snowing in Nottingham. I'm just a few miles away from Nottingham, so there must be some kind of microclimate going on there. Yeah, not quite sure how to deal with this. Okay. Okay, maybe I'll have a look at this offline. I think I'll have to have a look at this offline, unfortunately. But what else can we do with this? Looking at this code, we've got the pieces in. So if we put pieces in, the code's responsive to that. Let's just clear these. Alt-H, HN. It's just going to clear that. Okay. Okay, so the diagonal moves, I'm going to have a look at those offline for next week. And let's take this counter back. I think it was 1 to 4. Was it 1 to 3? So counter, we're offsetting from row 4. Yep, so that seems to make sense. 1, 2, 3. And then what else can we do with this? What else can we do with this code? Okay. I'm going to go back to the code. I'm going to delete what I put in, which is going to take us back to the kind of starting point, if you like. Okay. Let's just test this code again. So hit the F5 key. Make sure you're in the VBA editor, you're in the code. Hit the F5 key. Okay, we've got F7, F8, F9, that makes sense. F10, that takes us to the end of the board. E6, D6, C6, B6, looks good. G6, H6, and I6 looks good. Okay, and did we get F3, 4, 5 then? I'm not sure. F7, F8, F9, F10, E6, D6. Yeah, so these are the left moves. C6, B6. Yeah, G6, H6, I6. Okay, we didn't get the up moves there. So what's happened there? Okay, right. Was this 0 to begin with? Okay. There we go. F5 key. F5, F4, F3, F7. Yep. So we got the up move. So successfully restored it to where we were at the beginning of the stream. So slow progress, guys. Slow progress today. But that's what it's like with programming sessions. You know, I'm sure you've been there many times. Right. What's going on in the chat? Baleshwar tuning in from India. I think you're new to the Tuesday streams. So welcome, and let me know in the chat what stage you are at with Excel VBA. Let me know your questions. Very happy to answer them. Alam says Excel is definitely alive. Yeah. Also, let me know in the chat, do you watch the Your Daily Tiger videos? So I do a 60-second video daily on the Facebook page, on the Instagram page, talking about Excel, talking about business stuff, talking about whatever comments I get on the channel. So I did a series of 7 videos on why I don't think Excel is going to die, and had some really interesting comments on that. So yeah, you might be interested in that. Hashtag Your Daily Tiger on Facebook and Instagram. Steve says, yeah, it's all about the journey, not the destination. Absolutely. And with coding, well, it's certainly a journey. You know, we have periods of fast progress, periods of slow progress, periods of no progress at all, and this might be one of those. But you know, if you're a programmer or if you're just getting into your programming career, you know, you'll be getting used to that. Okay, so what else? I'm trying to think what else we could do if we're going to shelve the diagonal moves for the time being. Then what else could we do here? I'm wondering if we could look at getting out of this loop. So we're getting out of this loop if there is a blocking piece. Yeah, we're getting out of this loop if there's a blocking piece. What about getting out of this loop if the suggested square is off the board? How about that? If the suggested square is off the board. So at the moment, you can see I've set these parameters up, assuming the piece is in the middle of the board, assuming the piece is in cell F6 here. But these parameters simply wouldn't work if the piece was over here. These parameters are kind of static. So how about we have a look at that? So this is going to involve changing these parameters to full chessboard parameters. So we've got eight rows, 8 ranks on the chessboard. So this -3 is going to become -7 because it's -7 cells away. This down, so this 4 is going to become a 7. This is going to become a -7, and this is going to become a 7 2. Yep. Let's try that, and let's see. 7 7 -7 and 7. Okay. So I'm just going to show you what I mean. So if we run through the code now, F5 key. So just look at these message boxes. F5, that's a possible move. F4 is a possible move. F3 is a possible move. But now it's saying F2. Now it's saying F2. Here's our problem. Because we've changed the parameters in the table, it's saying F2 is a possible move. So here we want to say, if the square is outside of the board, then it's not a possible move. This is what we want to say. And yeah, fans of the series will know we've already got this mechanism in the original file. We've got a mechanism to identify if the square is on the board or outside of the board. But we're going to do a bit of extra practice today because my planned kind of path in this session, you know, seems to be problematic. So we're going to put this in as a bit of an extra. And now I want to exit a routine that started. And yeah, we've got our error here. Why did we get that error? We got an error because we asked Excel to go to the row above row 1, so to go outside of the spreadsheet. So Excel's returning an error there. I think it's 1004 or something, which says what you've referred to doesn't exist, basically, because we've referred to a row above the first row in the spreadsheet. Steve says, presumably the board needs to be capable of going anywhere. Ooh, good question. Jeez, Steve, we can tell you've got some experience presenting Excel VBA live streams on YouTube now. That's a very good question. And it's one for the chat, yeah, because we might want to change the location of the board. So, you know, we don't want to hard code these parameters into the code. So that's something maybe we'll deal with in a second. Let's see if we can just deal with this now. Okay. So we get this. Okay. Okay. Okay, let's try this. If dot row is less than 3, then message box outside of board And then actually let's exit the routine here as well. Exit sub, so that's going to end the macro and end if here. Okay. So what are we expecting to happen? Well, first, as we just saw, we're going to count up. Yeah, up is our first kind of move type here. So we're going to go up here, and we're trying to program the dimensions of the board. So once Excel gets to row 2, because we just programmed this in, Excel should say, can't go any further. We're outside of the board there, and it should exit the sub. Now, you'll notice I've just used dot row here. Just used dot row. That's because we're in this with, end with statement, which you can see here. So we're saying starting in F6 and moving up this number of rows, up and down this number of rows, and left and right this number of columns. Excel's going to connect this syntax together. So this syntax, which is at the beginning of the with statement, is going to be connected with this syntax here, because we've got a dot in front of it. Wouldn't work if we didn't have a dot in front of it. We've got a dot in front of it because we were in the with end with statement. Excel's going to concatenate those two together, even though it doesn't matter that we've created a separate conditional statement here. Excel's still going to pick up that we're in that with end with, hopefully. Anyway, right, so let's go through this. F5 key, run the code. So we've got F5. Now we've got F4. Now we've got F3. Now what are we expecting to happen now? Well, Excel's going to look at F2, cell F2. Excel's going to look at F2 and hopefully say, no, that's outside of the board. Okay, good. Good, that seems to work. So we're outside of the board there. Okay, so, Okay, so now we're looking to kind of scale this up, if you like. So it works for the up moves. So if we look at the down moves, then what do you think in the chat? What would we have to program in here? So for the up moves, we're saying if the row is less than 3, stop. For the down moves, what's the logic going to be there? So even if you don't know any VBA, I know there's at least 2 people in the chat who don't know a lot of VBA, just logic. What's the logic going to be? How can we communicate this to a computer? So stop if you get to row 10 in the spreadsheet. And let me know your questions in the chat, guys. Had a really good dialogue last week, all kinds of things. Excel stuff and all kinds of stuff, about the future of the channel and everything. So let me know any other questions. Very happy to have a chat. Paul says, yeah, Paul's got it. So that's our logic. So if the row is more than 10, again, we just want to exit. We just want to exit the routine here. How are we going to do this? Very nice. Now you can see this is where you're seeing the power of with end with, because you remember in around video 15 in this series, I was really struggling with ORs, connecting conditions together with ORs and ANDs. Here I've used OR, but it's so much easier because we're using with end with, not having to repeat this line of code. It's been a revelation for me, really. So I've only introduced it quite recently to my practice, seriously, but it saved me so much cognitive load. Right, so what are we expecting to happen? We're expecting to go F5, F4, F3. Then we're going to stop. Okay. Okay, perhaps we can try to go a bit fancy here. Okay, let's try this. So this line of code, of course, in fact, let's copy this. Now this is the line of code, of course, that doesn't exit the routine, doesn't exit the sub, but it exits the loops. Exits the loops. This fulfills the exit condition for the loop, and the exit condition, of course, is defined at the beginning of the loop. This fulfills the exit condition. That means that we exit the loop. Doesn't mean we exit the routine, because remember, on the next level up, the meta level, we're working through these rows one by one. So it doesn't exit the routine. It moves us on to the next move type, moves us on to the next row in the table. And this is all controlled, of course, by the containing loop right at the top here. So we've got three loops, loop within a loop within a loop here. Okay. Freddie says, wouldn't the exits, exactly, Freddie, you're ahead of me, as usual. Wouldn't the exit subcommand completely exit the whole sub? Absolutely. So it's not quite what we want, but it's a good example of how I test an idea. Can I do something easy that will prove to me the code is going in the right direction? It's not going to solve the problem, but it will mean that the idea is right. So yeah, we don't want to exit the routine. What we actually want to do is exit the loops and move us on to the next move type. Okay, so is this going to get messy? And yep. So what am I expecting to happen? I'm expecting this to work for the up moves. I'm expecting this to work for the down moves. It's not going to work for the left moves. And it's not going to work for the right moves because their conditions are not yet programmed in. Freddie said, I thought you'd already read my comment. No, honestly, no. If I'm looking in this direction, I'm not looking at the comments. If I'm looking over here, I'm looking at the comments because I've got two laptops set up. So I do the stream on my main laptop, and then completely separately on a different laptop, I monitor the chat so that you don't get annoying problems. We've had problems before running the stream and monitoring the chat off the same laptop. Okay, right. Stop talking and do something. F5, F4, yes. F3, yes. Okay. If we get F2, the computer goes out the window, which means the stream will stop. No, that's not true. Right. We've got F2. Oh dear. The computer's got to go. The computer's got to go. What's happened there then? F7, F8, F9, F10, F11, E6, D6, C6, B6, A6, and then we're going to get an error. Okay. Right. Okay. If I does not. Okay. Now I would have thought that would make us exit the loop. Interesting. Let's just simplify this. Let's take out stuff that we definitely don't need. Yeah, that's a good point, Tony. I'll come to that in a second. I'm going to put a breakpoint in here. See, I'm not very confident with combining conditions together with these ifs and ors. Right, I'm going to put a breakpoint in. That will tell us if Excel is getting into this code at all. Is Excel even getting there? F5 key, F5, F4, F3, and then we do get into this condition. So how are we getting to F2 then? So I'm now going to hit F8. So I'm going to step through the code now. So this is typical debugging procedure. Put a breakpoint near the problematic area, get to that area, and then play the code to get to the breakpoint, and then use the F8 key to step through the rest of the code to understand what's going on. See, okay, yeah. So row counter now equals 7, minus 7, and row end is minus 7. So we should exit the loop. Colt, C counter now equals 0, and C end is 0. So the exit conditions are met. Okay, no, maybe that's okay then. Maybe that is okay. Okay. Oh dear. Is it okay? Everything's okay. Right. Let's get this in here. Bit of reordering. Bit of indentation. Okay, yeah. I think it was the position of this line of code. So this line of code, exit, even though the loop conditions are met. So in these lines of code, we're creating those conditions to exit the loop. Even though those conditions are met, Excel's not going to exit the loop until it next gets to the bottom of the loop, until it next gets down here. So the remaining code in the loop, Excel is still going to execute. Then when it gets to the bottom of the loop, it's going to check the exit conditions. Are they satisfied? And then it's going to exit. Good, so we'll test that in a second. The laptop is still in the room. Everything's okay. It hasn't been thrown out of the room. So Tony's saying, yeah, can we use the cells property of the board area would help with Steve's point. Excellent point. Yeah, Tony. Did we do that originally? I think we might have. Yep. So rather than hard coding and saying if row is more than 7, which is what we've done here, or if row is more than 10, we can say give this area a named range. So we can call it board area, and then we can use the cells property of that board area, of that named range, in order to program this condition here. And that in turn would mean the board is portable, just like a real chessboard. We could put it around somewhere else on the spreadsheet. Yeah, so that's a good point. Freddie, sometimes I feel more comfortable using do while loop since I can exit the loop easily with exit do. Yes, yes. Or just put the exit loop criteria in the while condition. Yep. That's a good point, Freddie. So we're talking about different types of loops. And we're using for next here. And Freddie's saying, yeah, if you use a do while loop, any kind of do loop, then we have this exit do. Is there an equivalent to exit do in for next? Do we have an exit for? I don't think we do. Siri's getting involved in the live stream here. Do we have an exit for? I'm not sure. So this might be another option, moving this all to some kind of do while loop. Anyway, yeah, Freddie says, sometimes I feel more comfortable using do while since I can easily exit the loop when needed. Yeah, well, that's a possible alternative approach for us here, Freddie. Anyway, let's see if this solves a problem. Control S, save the file, F5. So we've got F5, F4, F3, F2. Okay, F7, F8, F9, F10, F11, E6. Okay, so we are going, I'm going to hold down the escape key now. Hold down the escape key. That means we can, that will just stop code execution there. Okay. So it's showing us the address because the conditions aren't met there. Okay. Anyway, I think broadly speaking, this is working, but it's going to need a little bit of tweaking. So what would the exit conditions be, or this little exit condition we're trying to program? If we're going left, then if dot column, the dot column property is less than 2, because this is the second column in the spreadsheet, of course. So then we'd want to exit. So we can say or dot column is less than 2, or dot column is more than, J is the 10th letter in the alphabet, is more than 9. Okay. So that gives us the 4 exit conditions. This is for up, this is for down, this is for left, and this is for right. Yeah, Paul's chipped in there. Thank you, Paul. More than 9. Okay. Control S, save the file. F5, F5, F4, F3. Now F2, I'm not quite sure why we're still getting F2, so we might need to tweak this. F7, F8, F9, F10. I think we're going to get F11. Yes, we do. But we're not going to get F12. Sorry, yeah, we get F11, but we don't get F12. Good. Then we're going to get E6, D6, C6, B6. I think we will get A6, but we're not going to get an error. Yeah, that's right. G6, H6, I6. I think we're going to get J6, and then it's going to exit. Okay. Right. Okay, so it's close. It's still checking if the cell is valid. Yes. It's close. There's a few different ways we could. It's less than 4. If we change that, this would work, I think. F5. So we've now got F5, F4, F3, but we don't have F2. Okay. Okay, it's more than 9. Column is less than 3. Or column is more than 8. Okay, so I've just changed the values by 1 up or down, depending on if we're talking about left, right, up or down. Then hit the F5 key. Okay, F5, F4, F3, F7, F8, F9, F10, lovely. And E6, D6, C6, B6, good. And G6, H6, and I6. Okay, good. So it seems to be working okay. Okay, so could we combine in? Yep. Let's try this. Or dot value does not equal. So let's combine that condition if there's a piece. Okay, so if we got to the boundaries of the board, we're stopping. What if there's a piece in the square? So if we just put let's put a piece here. So now I'm expecting it to not count F3, now. Right, F5, yes, F4, yes, it has a piece on. Do we have F3? No. F7, F8, F9, good, G6, H6, I6, and then we're out. Excellent. Okay. Yep, so that's nice. So now we've got the sense of the boundary of the board, and we've also got what we did last week, which is right here, which is if there's a piece in the cell. Okay, Freddie says somehow I feel like we're moving backwards in progress. Absolutely, Freddie. It's definitely a bit of a, well, it's not a backward step, but we haven't made any progress this week because the concepts I had isn't quite working. And, I suppose the kind of idealistic approach to this kind of live development is that I just do it. But in reality, I would have to sit here for about 10 minutes and not say anything at all because it takes me that long to kind of work things out. So I think in reality, I'm going to have to go away and just reconceptualize this bit. So it's this bit here, and it's what I was trying to do at the beginning of the stream, the diagonal movements. I'm going to have to go away and kind of sort that out myself, probably bring that next week. And if we get that working, then we'll be ready to move this mechanism into the additional file. But you're right, this particular week, my idea didn't quite work. And I did think it would. I did do some preparation, believe it or not, but didn't quite get it right today. And so we've just looked at some other ideas, but this idea here, for example, programming the boundaries of the board. Yes, we've already done that in the first file, but we might have to remove that mechanism because we're putting in a completely new mechanism that's going to allow us to count away from the piece, that's going to allow us to deal with blocking pieces. So we may actually use this mechanism here. So I don't think it's been wasted time. It wasn't what I thought we were going to do, but at the same time, I don't think it was. I don't think it was a step backwards. I mean, with anything, with any kind of pursuit in life, but certainly with programming, trying something and realizing it doesn't work, is actually progress, because you've ticked off something that isn't going to work, which moves you towards the stuff that is going to work. Well, that's my kind of very optimistic view of the situation. So what else could we do today? I mean, this reference is hard coded. Yeah, and Freddie says, I feel the same. More efficient to code on my own without any words. Absolutely. And you do have to bear that in mind, dear viewer. Next time you're doing your coding, try setting up a live stream setup and then live commentating on it. It does make things more difficult, but it's a challenge for me, and that's made when I do normal coding now. Like tomorrow I'll be doing VBA coding. It actually feels easier because I've been doing this, because I've been practicing coding and actually talking through it. So normal coding feels easier. So this is actually a good way to improve your practice. Even after 7, 8, 9 years, I still feel like I'm getting better, and one of the reasons is I do stupid stuff like this, and challenge myself to be able to, try to present it live. That's clearly more difficult than just doing it on your own. So yeah, it's certainly created some good benefits for me. So we've got F6. Okay. Just wondering if we could code that. I mean, we'd get this reference from the location of the shape, on the board. So maybe that's not something we can look at now. Okay, cool. Right. Any questions in the chat? Anything else you want to talk about? Yeah, we haven't made a lot of progress this week. I'll see if any questions come through on the chat. And if nothing comes through, I might go back and have a quick look at the original problem. Tempted to do that, or maybe I should just wrap things up. Maybe go back and have a look at the original problem, or see if we can maybe get it working somehow. I just hate losing. You see, Steve knows I'm ultra competitive, way too competitive. I hate losing. So maybe we could kind of reconceptualize this. Okay. Just wonder if there's a way to do this. Okay. Okay, what are the actual, so if we want these squares, let's just color these squares again. Okay, F4 key here. There we go. We're going to color these squares. So the first square, let's put numbers in here. 2, 3. So the first square, the value of row counter is going to be -1. And the value of Colt counter is going to be -1. Then the second square, -2, and the third square, -3. -2, and then -3, and then -3. Okay. So we want to work through the loop and just include, sorry, you can't see this, just skip over to the other side of the screen. Want to work through the loop and just include these values. But of course, Paul says add 1 or subtract 1. Let's go back in here. Okay. -1, -2, -3. Okay, I mean, I can't think of a workaround to do it. Okay. Do I want to put it in now? That's the question. Yeah, Tony says the problem with the approach is that you need to change the values in the table for each of the 64 squares. Okay. Which table are you talking about here, Tony? Are you talking about this table here? Yeah. I see what you're saying, but we should be able to make that work. We should be able to make that work. Using mechanisms we've already built in the other file, in the original file. Okay, but it might be that I just need to step outside of the spirit of the live stream, which I don't like doing, and go and do a couple of hours on it on my own, and that will set a path for the next 2 or 3 live streams, and it will mean that we have more fluent presentation, which you'll probably like. Yeah, Tony's right. You're right, Tony. It only works for F6 at the moment because the F6 reference is hard coded. But you'll see in the other file, we take this reference from the position of the shape that triggers the macro. So the macro is triggered by somebody clicking on the shape. We use, what's the line of code? Application.caller. Application.caller top left cell or something is the property. And that will give us the cell that the piece is in. Okay, so we should be able to work around that one. The if statement you had before, check whether row step and column step are equal, actually worked and output those coordinates, but it was only restricted to one direction. Yeah, you're right, Freddie. That's absolutely going to work, Freddie. By putting in another construct here, some more syntax, we can absolutely get it to work. And maybe I should be a bit more pragmatic and just kind of put that in. But I'm still reaching for an ideal solution that keeps everything really simple, works for everything. Because if it's really simple, it's great. There's no stress. You can scale it up easily, etc., etc. Okay. I mean, what I'm thinking is we need a conditional statement in here. Yeah, we could just extend this and say, if the move type is one of these, if the move type is one of these, then if the absolute values of the row and column counter are not the same, then we should exclude this as well. That's the idea. I'm not sure if that made sense, but it's Freddie's idea. It's what he says in the chat. I'm just wondering whether we kind of put that in now or not. Okay, let's try. Oh, dear. It's definitely my ego speaking now. But let's try it. Okay, right. So let's have move possible. Okay, I'm going to have a Boolean variable here, which is a true false variable, of course. Okay. Right, then we can initialize it here. What is it? Move possible equals true. Okay, then this changes. Okay. Okay, and then here we have to say, yeah. It's going to get this indentation accurate. Okay, I've just realized move possible is not really the most informative variable name. We need something like leave move category. Yeah. Let's say end move type. Okay. Yep. Okay. Right, I'm going to change this variable name, Control F here. Control F in the VBA editor. I want to change move possible. Move possible, change replace, change it to okay, let's call it time to exit. Okay. Okay, and I'm going to switch these around as well. It's false. Time to exit equals true. Okay, and if time to exit equals true, then we're going to program those exit conditions, which should exit the two loops. False, time Boolean variable, checking through it. Okay. Okay. Right, let's have a go then. F5, F5, F4, F7, that's right, F7, F8, F9, F10, lovely. E6, D6, C6, B6, lovely, G6, H6, I6. Okay. Right, so now we've got this variable in. Okay, let's have, okay, say about 10 there. Okay, let's say move type here. Now, who said this in the chat? Yeah, Paul said it would be better to have two move variables, straight and diagonal. Yeah, I agree, Paul. This is the idea. Say straight, let's just say str, Control D, and then let's say dia. And Control D here. Okay. Okay, Alam says, great video. Thank you, my man. You know you're my boy. And shows the thought process that goes into it. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it would just be dishonest to always do smooth YouTube presentations of coding because, it takes a lot of thinking behind the scenes. Michelle says, I know this is not relevant, but have you ever had spiked cells? White claws? No, Michelle, I'm not sure what you're talking about there. I've got to be honest with you. I was celebrating with Truly and White Claws all weekend. Okay, is White Claws a band or something? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. You've totally stumped me there, Michelle. So you have to explain. Freddie says it's definitely hard to code something and get it working for us. However, once it's working, the joy would be double or even triple, depending how hard it is. You can do it, Chris. Thank you, Freddie. Appreciate the encouragement. You're absolutely right. The more difficult something is, then the more, good man. Then the more kind of, the greater the sense of satisfaction you get when you fix it. Thank you to Paul, who quite rightly said I put these in the wrong cells. Thank you. Okay, and let's get me on the other side here. Okay. Right. Okay, yeah. Let's have another variable here then. Now this is move type. It's a string variable here. Let's say straight or diagonal. And this annotation is not accurate now. Time to exit this move category, move type. Okay, I'll be back in a second. I've just got to let my dog in. Come in. Dinner. Oh, you want to come down here? Come on. Where are you going to go? Where are you going? Easy. Easy. Okay. Okay, my dog said I'm just going to wait for her to lie down, settle down. Sit, please, darling. Good girl. Okay, and set then move type. Okay, there we go. Yeah, my dog's just come into the office and she's moving around, and there's so many cables in this office at the moment. There's mics and stuff around because I've been doing filming, and sometimes she comes in and just bulldozes her way through all the cables and everything's on the floor. So anyway, she's settled down on the sofa now. Straight or diagonal. Okay, then move type equals move type equals, okay, and then what column are we on now? Q, O, M, O, alphabet R, L, N, P, M, O, Q. Okay, I haven't done those in order, which is confusing, and then R. There we go. So now I've got move type. Going to check this quickly. Just check the values getting into the variable there. Okay, good. Okay, so now we can say if move type So if it's a diagonal move type, okay, this is where the this is where all the ifs and ors get very confusing for me. and if, and then we'll have, so rather than trying to use the ands and the ors, I've just used, I'm going to use separate if statements, less efficient in terms of the processing of the code, easier to understand, easier to program for me. So if the absolute value of R counter does not equal the absolute value of row counter of the column counter, then we're not on a diagonal. We're not on a diagonal, so time to exit equals true. Oh no, that's not quite right, is it? Okay, that's not quite right. Not quite right. Okay, let's go into the chat for a second while I think about this one. Hard seltzers. Okay. Okay, Truly and White Claws are brand names for hard seltzers. Okay. Okay, Michelle. Good stuff. It's news to me. Okay, they're like Twisted Tea. They have only 5% alcohol. Okay, cool. Are you having some of those tonight, Michelle? Sound very nice. I've got a no alcohol policy whilst live streaming, so not for me tonight. But I might be having a cup of tea in a second. Paul Taylor, how about separate module for each and call the sub? Yes. Yeah, Paul says I prefer real ale. Okay, yeah, that's very big around these parts, Paul. I kind of live in the countryside now, so lots of real ale around here. Okay. Okay, how to do this? Okay, we're going to actually need a... Okay. Move type. Okay. 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 I'm gonna list the possible moves now. Okay. No. I won't do that. Let's just okay. Yeah. Let's take this down here. Okay, if move possible equals true, then message box dot address. Okay, right, let's give this a go. Whew. Okay, so this is all our board stuff. So this is the dimensions of the board, and if there's a piece in the cell, that's going to exit the move type. Yep, so this is a special thing for diagonals. Okay. Yep. Yeah, that's true. That's true, Tony. I could replace this with an and. I know it's funny. I've got a kind of deep psychological fear of using ands and ors in conditional statements, just because I've got in terrible problems in the past with them. So I'm just going to keep it as simple as possible now. Maybe next week, if this works, we'll look at him doing the efficiency improvements. Michelle said most likely yes. Good stuff, Michelle. I think there's a way to work around the creation of a new column. My thought is to set those steps for 0 for vertical and horizontal moves and trigger both step moves each time to move in the next cell. Okay. Yeah, I think there's there'll certainly be a way to do it without having this column. But it might involve some clever logic or even some clever kind of arithmetic or maths, which is which is beyond me, well, just beyond me anyway, probably, but it's beyond me at the moment. Right, what are we expecting to happen then? So what's counter set to? Counter set to 0 to 3. So we're expecting what was happening before to happen. Okay, hit the F5 key. So we've got F5, yes. Now we should have F4, yes, but we shouldn't have F3 because there's a piece there, yes. F7, F8, F9, F10, yes, lovely. E6, D6, C6, B6, lovely. G6, H6, I6. I6 is the last one, lovely. So now we're going to try to switch on the diagonal stuff. So diagonal, the start cell was -1, -1. The end cell was -3, -3. And the step is -1. Oh, is -1 and -1. Does that look right? Let me know in the chat. Okay, and then let's just say 4 to 4. So this is going to do the 4th row away. And where are we offsetting on? We're offsetting from row 4. 4 rows from row 4 takes us to row 8. So hopefully it's just going to work through this row. And let's see what happens. F5 key, we've got E5, yes. Ah, it just did E5. Okay, why did it just do E5 then? Okay, 5, E5, okay. Right, step through the code then. F8 key. Yep. F8, okay. And with, okay. We put these in correctly, yes. Okay. Okay, let's try again. Just trying to work out why it's... Ah, yes, Freddie, my man. Freddie's rescued me just now. A few people in the chat have rescued me today. And Freddie has just rescued me. Absolutely, because there's a value in the cell. Excel thinks there's a piece there. And Paul, thank you guys. Good to know you got my back. Absolutely. F5 key. E5, yes. D4, yes. Oh, I thought we were going to do it. We didn't get to... Why did we not get to C3 then? Why did we not get to C3? I thought we were going to be done and dusted, guys. So let's put a breakpoint in here. F5, F5, E5, F5. So now we should have D4. D4, okay. Colt counter. Okay, I think I hit it too many times then. F5. Yep. Yep, okay. Okay, hitting the F8 key now, stepping through. So row counter equals -3. And Colt counter equals -4. Okay. What happened there then? One, two, three, should be 3 columns. 3 columns away. Just checking the values going into these variables properly. They are. We're happy with that, E5. And after that, what happens? So call counter is now -2, which means we go into this conditional statement. So move possible is false. Okay, now move possible is reset to true. And call counter now equals 3, right? -3. Okay, so this is also, we're also ignoring that. That's great. So now row counter is -2. And call counter is -1, so we're going to ignore this one as well. Now row counter is -2 and call counter is -2. So we're going to take this one. Yep, perfect. Okay, so now call counter is -3. Row counter is -2. Yep, so we're going to ignore this one. There we go. So now call counter is -4. Call counter is -1, yeah, and row counter is -3. So we're now on E3. E3, the cell reference. Okay, we've got time to exit equals true. How did that happen? Okay. Yeah, because the row is less than. Of course, because the row, yeah, it thinks we're outside the board now. Okay. Right, let's see what's happening with the others, because we might be able to make a tweak that will make everything work here. Switch the other moves on. Whoops. VBA editor open, Control S, save the file, F5, run the code. F5, yes. F4, yes. F7, F8, F9, F10, yes. E6, D6, C6, B6, yep. G6, H6, I6, yep. E5, D4, yep. Now we want C3, but we don't get C3. Okay. Okay, any ideas? Any ideas in the chat, guys? Why does it think that cell is outside of the board? Okay, maybe we should reset these. Okay, row is more than 10, column is less than 2, column is more than 9. Okay. Right, so I think this is now going to work for the diagonal move, the top left diagonal move. I think this is now going to be accurate. F5, run the code, E5, D4, C3. Yep. Paul says, is this because we can go 4 columns with only 3 rows? Not sure at the moment, Paul, not sure. But now if we run, let's just run the first one. F5, F4. Let's get rid of this piece. F5, F4, F3. See, it says F2. I don't think it should say F2. That's what I'm not understanding here. Okay. Right, let's put a breakpoint in here. F5, F5, F4, F3. Right, so step through from here. F8 key, F2. Okay. Yeah, hang on. Let's try that again. F5, F4, F3. Right, so what are these values now? Dot row is 2. Okay. Okay. F5, F4, F3. Yeah, that's now working. Okay, let's see if this works for everything now. See if this works for the diagonal moves. E5, D4, C3, lovely. Right, this should work for everything now. Okay. So 0 to 4. Okay, let's put some pieces in as well. Okay, F5. So I keep hitting the F5 key without having the VBA editor open. That's why I get the go to window. F5, yes. Okay, F4 is not possible. Yeah, makes sense. F7, F8, F9, F10. Okay, E6. Yep, D6, C6, B6, yes. G6. Yep, E5. So we're now going in the diagonal moves. Yep, okay. Okay, good. So it does seem to be working now. Right, can we program in these other diagonal moves? So up and right. Up and right. Got a bit of a stiff right shoulder at the moment. It is annoying me a bit, I have to say. Just going to take the desk down a little bit there. So if we're going up and right, so that's -1 row and 1 column. If we're going down and left, so that's 1 row down and -1 column. Yeah, Paul says I need a rest. Yeah, you're probably right, Paul. Just in the chat, guys, let me know if I'm getting these entries right. Down and to the right, so down is 1 and to the right is 1 column. Okay, so these should all work with 7s in now. So -7, -7. So this is going to be -7 and 7. This is going to be 7 and -7. And this is going to be 7 and 7. Michelle says, hope you feel better soon. Yeah, I just feel great. I feel fine, but I've had this funny thing in my, it's kind of in my right shoulder, which is a really funny one. I'm not sure what it's to do with, but it does get worse when I spend a lot of time typing. But what really helps is, who's got one of these then? So what's going on now? This is not the camera moving. This is the standing desk. I'm just adjusting it up and down now. Standing desk. If you haven't got one, guys, and you're the wrong side of 35 like me, then standing desk is just incredible. Like the health benefits, I think they've been really good. Row step. So up and right. It's going to be -1 and it's going to be 1 column. Yeah, makes sense. Then down and right, so that's going to be 1. That's going to be 1. Down and left is going to be -1, and down and right is going to be 1. There we go. Paul says I'm the wrong side of 45. Great thing about coding is we can see tonight it can be a bit of a competitive pursuit. You know, get the competitive juices flowing. Certainly does with me. And the great thing about coding is you can be doing it as long as you like. You know, you get very old people who are still great at crosswords and Sudoku and all of those things. You know, why not? You could be coding past 100. You know, maybe Paul will reconvene in 60 years time for the Tuesday live stream. I don't think we'll have a chess computer by then, but we'll put it in the diary. 60 years time, are we still coding? Me and you, Paul, and have we managed to get the chess computer going? Tony says, any advance on 75? Fantastic, Tony. That is exactly what I'm talking about. You know, age doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you're a teenager. Doesn't matter if you're, you know, much more senior years. That's the great thing about coding. Everyone get into it. And that's the good thing about things like YouTube and online platforms, online education. You know, previously, what would you have to do if you want to learn computer programming? Well, you probably have to go to university, a business school, a college. Maybe you could hire a tutor or something. But, you know, there's quite a lot of bad stuff going on in the world, but there's a lot of good stuff with this dissemination of information. So great stuff. Freddie said, it's my university career. I didn't like programming that much since most of the math students can easily solve the problem. Freddie, I love that point. I love that point. So math students will always say, I can solve it. I can solve it. Okay. Don't. Yeah, Paul. Yeah, we've got to get to 110, Paul. So there's this thing in management science. Have I got the book here to show you? Oh yeah, I've got the book here. Okay, I recommend this text. So this is for anybody who is doing any kind of problem solving in the real world. But there's a big critique in this book, which is a core text in a lot of management science modules. There's a critique there of what is called the problem solution mindset. Problem solution mindset. And anybody who's sat in one of my lectures knows exactly what this is. But when we're young, when we're at school, we learn about the problem solution mindset. Yeah, that's how we do stuff. We get a problem, we get all the parameters fixed, everything's nice and certain, then we work it out and give a solution. Yeah, it's a problem solution mindset. That's how we train people. That's how we bring people up. That's how we assess students. Okay, the argument in this book is that's not the way to think about the real world. And in the real world, Freddie, this will be a great message for you. There's very few solutions in the real world. The kind of projects I must have done probably over 100 spreadsheet projects now, maybe more. And I've never given a solution, ever. I've never had a client saying, I need an answer to this. I've done optimization models where clients have been like, I want a good course of action, or I want options to look at. But you never solve problems in the real world. Even if you think you have a solution, you've got to implement that in the real world. That means people are going to give their opinion on it. That means you're going to be always managing their opinion. There's a whole social aspect of problems. So things are never solved. So be careful with the problem solution mindset. Paul, see you soon. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, let's see if we can run this, and then I'll have a sense of some progress this week. Right, so first we've got, hang on, let's just check. Okay, 0 to 4. So 4 is there, 5, 6, 7. So change this to 7 now. For some reason, when I'm live streaming, Siri always wants to get involved as well, even though I put the phone on silent or do not disturb. Right, is this going to work then? Okay, F5. F7, F8. So F5 is right. F7, F8, F9, F10. Lovely. E6. Yes. D6, C6, B6. Lovely. G6. Yes. E5. Only E5. Okay, now we've got G5. Now we're looking for H4, I3. Oh, what happened there? G5. Oh dear. E7. G7. Okay. Wasn't quite what I was expecting there with those diagonals, I've got to say. Have I put these in correctly? I know. No. Interesting. Not sure what's happened there. Okay, let's set this up. 4 to 7. E5, G5. G5 is right. Now we're expecting H4. So I wonder why we don't get H4 here. Now we've got E7. Yeah. G7. Okay. So it's only going one square in each direction. That's interesting. Oof. Interesting means a real pain in the backside in this case. So we've got E5, G5, E7, G7. Right. Okay. So we're only going one square in each direction. I wonder what's happening there. Okay, why are we only going... Freddie says that's a good point. Yep. Freddie, seriously, check out this book. It's called Rational Analysis for a Problematic World Revisited. I'll put it in the chat. Just type it in now for you, Freddie. Problematic World Revisited. Rosenhead and Minges are the authors. There you go. Oh dear, why are we... Okay, so if we go through once... Yep, we're expecting that. Yep, move possible is false. Okay, so what are the values of these variables now? R count is -1. Colt counter -3. Yep. So now Colt counts. What's happened here? Okay, yeah. I see the problem. Oh dear. Okay, oh dear. Okay, it's going to have to be a last roll of the dice today. Okay, yeah. So this might work. Okay, if move type straight, yeah. Then time to x equals true, else move possible equals false. Jeez, this might do it. Who knows? Oh dear. Right. E5. Whoa. Okay, yep. Okay. Yep, okay. Gonna have to admit defeat that. So yeah, we're gonna have to pick this up next week. And I might do some work on it in the meantime. We're gonna see, but I think I feel like I've had a good workout, almost 2 hours doing coding. Feel like I've had a good workout, and yeah, hopefully it gives you a sense. Let me know if you've got any final questions in the chat, by the way. Hopefully it gives you a sense of the process that's involved, and I certainly hope you don't think that just because somebody's got a little YouTube channel like me, that coding isn't a taxing process at times, quite onerous, really mentally involved at times. Okay, but it depends what phase you are at in the coding process. I think what happened today was I thought I'd done the conceptualization, but wasn't quite right. Wasn't quite right the way I did the conceptualization. These diagonal moves are proving problematic, but maybe we can just jig this code around a bit. Okay, Michelle, see you soon. Thank you so much. Take care. Good to see you. So we'll call it a day there, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we will push on next week. Okay, guys, take care. I'll see you soon.